3 for the losers brackets. And we will see Master Void and TA, who are both pretty decent players, not to say very good players, against Max and Dutch Mikey. Max was originally a relatively bad player, but ever since he started properly playing, he's been advancing something fierce. I mean, he's the player that advanced, I wouldn't say the best, but one of the best, because he was very low on the ladder initially, but he increased in rating quite a bit. So he's definitely going to be a player to contend with in later stages of the PACE tournament, because he keeps growing and growing. So now we just have to wait for these players to actually spot their spawn locations and go onto the planet. Okay, and here we go. So we have Max and Mikey both spawning in Navy, and it looks like they will actually have control of this ocean because no one seems to be spawning in here. We have Master Void and TA spawning very close to each other, and they will be going mainly for land base. So this is going to be land versus Navy by the look of things. There's still the option to make a naval base here or here, which connects to the oceans that that Max and Mikey will have. But Void and TA are definitely going to be land first. So we have the air factory first for Master Void and TA, and we have air factory coming out first as well for Max and Mikey. The air factory is likely, yeah, Firefly first. It's likely to produce that, and it did in fact produce that. And we'll see around the other end of the world. Yeah, we also have the Firefly first. It's coming out slightly later, but it's still going to be scouting. It's being followed up by hummingbirds, and we might see some aerial harassment using bumblebees as well, depending on what they scout. Although in this case, hummingbirds could take out the fabbers if they come out first using the air factory, which they seem to be coming out from Max and Mikey. We don't have a first factory yet. It's likely going to be an air factory. Yeah, it's going to be an air factory as well for Max and Mikey's second base. And we have the bot factory first for TA and Void. Well, bot factory second, technically. Looks like there's some pings going around the map. Yeah, it looks like Max and Mikey are signaling to each other. This is where the base is. Keep a close eye on it. And assault whenever possible. We now have a naval factory for Max and Mikey as well. And no additional factories just yet. More metal is coming out though. Economy wise, it looks like Void and TA are doing slightly better because they got the metal spots earlier and they could start their power plant production somewhat earlier than their opponents could. We also have more Fabber bots moving out to try and claim even more metal still. And it looks like the economy is now swinging into motion for Max and Mikey as well, since they start claiming their metal spots using Fabbers instead of their commander, who is very slow in moving between those. Commander is still going to finish this one off, but I assume some more, yeah, power is now coming down here. Although he put it quite a while away from his commander, you want to put it as close as possible because the less your commander has to move, the more he's actually building. And the more he's building, the better, because the commander is really efficient when it comes to building stuff. More bot factories coming down. I would have expected actually to see more air, but I assume they want to take control of the land and then start working on the navy. This naval factory is producing mostly Fabbers by the look of things. There's also a number of hummingbirds out. I assume those are for air superiority purposes. Ooh, very early advanced bot factory. I don't think we are even 2 minutes into the game and we already see an advanced bot factory going down. So probably the reasoning behind this is they're like, okay, we're on land, they're in the ocean. It's very unlikely any of us will be attacking each other soon, except for with maybe some aerial bombers or stuff like that. So we might as well go straight for the eco, boost that as much as we possibly can, and then use that for very early nuke play or maybe some other kind of advanced air play, because regular play is not going to be happening. And probably reasoning about the same, we see an advanced air factory coming down from Max and Mikey. It might be that they actually decide to build some kestrels with these and try to harass the base with that. It's definitely a viable choice. We now have an advanced air factory for TA and Void as well. So yeah, it's probably going to be an eco game mostly for the first parts of the game. I'm actually going to drink something because my throat is getting really dry from all this talk. Okay, that's better. Looks like the advanced air factory for Max and Mikey will finish first because they are rushing it out. It's tanking their economy somewhat because they don't have the amount of metal that their opponents do. Even so, because they are putting so much effort into it, it's probably gonna finish first, as it's only a few bots and a single aerial fabric building this advanced one. A lot of bots look to be, yeah, they're going to be assisting the advanced bot factory. So that's probably gonna finish right after that advanced air factory finishes. I assume we will be seeing mainly aerial fabrics come out first and then being followed up by some kind of peregrine kestrel style of play. Yeah, so we have the aerial fabric first. Factory is not being assisted just yet. I assume he will start to do that as soon as he realizes he can do that. Advanced bot factory now getting very near to completion. Not quite there yet, but it's now about, yeah, I'd say 7, 8 done. Now 9, 10. It's gonna finish. The advanced aerial factory is also about halfway done. And we don't have any additional factory. Oh, we have an advanced naval factory that's going to be produced. Yeah, this is gonna be useful because even though they don't have too much in the way of land control, if they can get some stingrays around this area and some leviathans, they can still shell anything that is traversing these straits, assault these metal positions, assault these metal positions, and any metal positions that are built here would definitely be under threat as well. Sadly though, they don't have any presence in this ocean, so they can't straight up assault the base, nor can they around this area. And yes, we have peregrine kestrels coming out now. Probably gonna go for some harassment as soon as they possibly can. The aerial fabricator is just done now, and we also see some peregrines coming out to maintain air superiority. We have advanced bot fabbers coming out, boosting the metal economy even further still. I assume we will see some advanced power come out not too soon after. Not too long after, yeah. Advanced power now coming down here as well. No advanced. Oh, we did have to advance metal first. So yeah, realizing they had a deficit, they went for the advanced metal first, and it paid off. I mean, they were ahead slightly for metal, even though they had less metal spots. They did have a larger metal production because they started earlier. We do seem to have quite a number of kestrels already, mixed in our number of peregrines. And the advanced naval is now definitely being produced quite substantially, already halfway done, and it won't take too long before it will be completely finished. Kestrels are now moving out together with the peregrines. They are encountering some hostile peregrines, and that pretty much took care of any kestrels that were with them. They took on the rest of the peregrines as well, but yeah, the kestrels are gone, and that was the main thing they really wanted to have to assault with. Naval factory now about 3/4 done, and once that finishes, I have no doubt we will see some leviathans and stingrays come out. Stingrays, because of their AAK capacity, are also very useful, and you definitely want to be using those, especially against any aerial harassment that might be coming your way. Look at this amount of fabbers that are actually assisting the factories. These advanced fabbers are rolling off the line like no tomorrow. It's definitely biting into the economy. We have another run by of Kestrels, but there's missile turrets now in place, and I don't think any harassment using that angle of attack will be doing much more. Let's actually take a look at factories. So we have 7 factories to 7 factories, but the amount of fabrics is more than double for Master Void and Total Annihilation. That being said though, attack units wise they only have 9, whereas Max and Mikey have 42. Yes, the meaning of life right there, people. Oh, did I just see a nuke? I could have swore. Yeah, there's a nuke being produced. It's only a single fabric that's working on it, but if they finish that nuke first, well, nuke launchpad and then the nuke first, that will definitely be a game changer. And considering the ranges in this game, you might as well, because the spawn locations are so far apart that only some aerial harassment might get through. We have a number of peregrines moving out. I assume they will be scouting metal positions, and Kestrels will be following up after that scouting party goes through. Oh, flying straight over the missile turrets, and there's also flak turrets now being constructed, and flak turrets really good at taking out there, as I probably shouldn't have to point out. So that's probably the end of the air harassment phase. And we also have a number of Norvals moving out towards this base. Don't know exactly what they could be doing. We now also have the Stingray and the Leviathan. Leviathan is under construction, but Stingray is moving out towards this base. Nuclear launchpad is about 1/4 done, maybe a third already. We still don't see any nukes coming into play here. We have a number of peregrines and kestrels moving out, but depending on what angle of attack they use, they might not be all that useful. If they go for the metal, they could probably take out quite a bit, but as you can see, the metal is now nearly double because the advanced metal has been constructed in the space. We also have advanced power. Advanced power is also a potential thing they might want to attack, and all these fabrics, that is definitely something that's relatively easy to attack. Peregrines did follow that up really quickly, and there's only 1 kestrel left. Might take down this advanced air factory. Nope, it flew into some more peregrines, and that was the end of that attack. Nuclear launchpad now more than halfway done. It did get scouted. They should have seen it. Let's actually check. Yeah, they definitely saw the nuclear launchpad. The question now is, are they going to be doing anything about this? I don't see any anti-nukes coming up here, don't see any anti-nukes coming up there either. So this is definitely going to be problematic unless they can formulate some kind of response against those nukes. Nuclear launchpad now very near to completion. The question is it going to be assisted very quickly and with loads of units? It's not going to be assisted straight away, but might get more assists later on. Leviathan is now slowly moving towards the enemy base as well. Max and Mikey, while they are behind economy-wise, they're not doing too bad. Energy-wise, they're good. It's mostly the It's mostly the metal that's being an issue, and they still have plenty of metal spots they could potentially take, but which they are not taking. Something they might have to work on. The real threat to their base, and the threat they don't seem to realize, is there is this nuke that's being produced. There's now 4 advanced fabrics working on it, 3 additional ones are on the way to assist this nuke, public things. And yes, they start assisting it. So that nuke is going to be produced rather quickly. And there is a ping going down. Can't exactly tell what that ping was supposed to be. Oh, we have catapults to defend this area, and we have the radar to go with it, so any naval ships that get slightly too close are being assaulted by those catapults. We have another wave of kestrels and peregrines moving in, but they got taken out really quickly due to the AA presence that was already in the area, and to the peregrines that were on defensive patrol. Nuke is now about 1/3 complete. The economy is being tanked for Master Void and TDA, but it's not too big of an issue because they know that as soon as that nuke finishes, they really will have a substantial advantage because they can launch that nuke pretty much anywhere without any anti-nukes that are up. Yeah, even if they start rushing out an anti-nuke with all the economy, it's going to be pretty close to finish it before that nuke finishes. Leviathan is very close to getting into range, but it doesn't seem to have any radar. There is a radar now being constructed to hopefully get some firing solutions for Leviathan, but Leviathan might get in range of this radar before that happens. Although TA and Master Void don't have the economy. Oh, but there, the economy was just enough to get a radar online for a second, and it was enough to actually launch 2 catapult missiles. but it did launch at the radar instead of actually launching at the Leviathan. So Leviathan is still in play. Now they are being launched at the Leviathan. So any second that you do have that radar, that's this chance this missile gets fired, and the Leviathan is now down. So that is not going to be doing anything at all. Nuke is more than halfway done. And I have no doubt that this nuke is going to be the game ender, or the beginning of the game ender. There is a nuke being produced for Dutch, Mikey and Max. But that nuke is not going to finish anywhere near the other nuke. We have even more aerial harassment going in, but the aerial harassment is not working. They should stop that and try something else. That nuke was a good idea, but I believe it's gonna be way too late. Nuke is now 3/4 done for TA and TAVoid. And their economy is doing rather well, and it's being assisted by pretty much everything in the area. Even the commander is chipping in to get that nuke up and running. Did you? I heard a boom. Commanders are both still in the game. Doesn't look like a commander got sniped. I mean, there's one working on the nuke and the other one is still here, so no commander snipes did go down. Nuke is now very near to completion, only 1/10 to go. There is another ping. I assume that's going to be where they launched the nuke. There is an anti-nuke under construction, but that anti-nuke is not going to finish anywhere near the time that a nuke is. More pings going down. Yeah. It's pinging this base, so I assume that is where the nuke is going to land. Everything is being thrown at the anti-nuke right now, but it's not going to be enough. Nuke is done and it's launched immediately, so that anti-nuke is going to be nowhere near done. I believe the commander is actually still in the area. I saw it earlier. Can't really point. The commander is here near the power plant, so he's probably going to eat the hit of that nuke as well. And that's going to be quite a blow, because that's advanced. Yeah, all those advanced air fabricators are down. Commander took a substantial nuke hit, a second nuke hit, or some peregrines will probably finish it off. And the advanced power is still here, but that's about all that remains from this base. Still, there's quite a bit of metal going on, because the metal spots here are taken. The metal spots here are upgraded to advanced tech levels. And the nuke is now being... the nuclear launchpad has finished, but the actual nuke still needs quite a bit of work. And the other nuke... Jesus Christ, look at this economy, it's insane. TAVoid and TA just started work on that nuke immediately. Both commanders... No, only just single commander chipping in, but it looked like this flak cannon was actually a commander. Oh, did a commander just get blown up? Looked like it did. I don't know. Maybe it was the elites, or maybe it was just blown up by some aerial harassment. I think it was the latter, that some casuals actually flew by and finished our commander. Yeah, that nuke is being pushed out rather quickly, but it's not going to be enough, because this nuke has already finished and it's going to be launched rather quickly. So those nukes definitely finishing the game here. Oh, it's not going to be launched. Come on, guys, you want to launch it, because otherwise you might lose the advantage. No, they totally are not launching the nuke. This nuke is now about 1/3 done. There's now also anti-nukes being produced. Okay, the nuke is now underway. And it's no doubt gonna hit center base. There's no anti-nukes up. This nuke is only halfway done, so it's not gonna be even. They're not gonna even be able to launch back at their enemies. And this will probably be it for Max and Dutch Mikey. Yeah, it's gonna hit center base. Nuclear launchpad got taken out. Commander is still out of the blast zone, but yeah, what does he still have at this point? He has some economy. Other than that, he has diddly squat. He also has some energy that's still there, but he doesn't have the capacity to produce much of anything. He has one advanced air factory, one basic air factory, and that's it. So they might as well GG at this point, since their enemy did not take a single blow throughout this entire game. And the nuke is already halfway done once more for TAVoid and total Annihilation, so they will be able to follow it up rather quickly again. commander is assisting Peregrines, but that's not going to be enough probably. Trying to get some advanced metal down to further boost the economy. But we do have Peregrines moving in. I assume a wave of Kestrels is going to follow it up, but they can't because obviously the Peregrines all got taken out, so there's enough air to still keep the time. Nuke is once more very near to completion. Oh, and they just GG'd. They destroyed their own commander, and he GG. Right as another nuke is being launched, so commander is pretty much dead anyway. So yeah, that's the end of the losers bracket round 3. We have Master, Void and TA who are going to be moving on.